Welcome back to Home Spot, everyone. I hope y'all are having an amazing day. I am about to start cleaning a whole bunch. To give you all a little bit of backstory as to why the shop is the way that it is, we just finished making a bunch of cutting boards for a craft fair. It's right after the Thanksgiving holiday, so we have a bunch of stuff to clean from there. We got Christmas stuff out and about. So, yeah, it's just stuff piled everywhere and anywhere. But today's episode is mainly going to feature this right here, this mess. Bunch of wood in general, more over there. Got some plywood sheet goods over there. So we need to find a solution for all of this, as well as this ladder. We need to figure out something to do with that ladder. I'm thinking some type of mobile cart rack. It needs to have wheels so it can be mobile, move it around the shop, whatnot. I have enough space for it back here. I've already measured it. Obviously, I need to clean it first and go from there. But aside from that, a bunch of cleaning on today's episode and figure out a way to make shop efficiency better, make shop life better. Let's get to it.
All right, y'all. So first up, we need to organize a little bit. We need to clean up a little bit because at this point in time, the shop is unusable. I can't use my table saw, can't use my workbench, my chop saw. Really can't use anything. So got to get to organizing a little bit before we even start. And this is exactly what we're trying to prevent. The more efficient you are in your shop, the more things you can get done, the easier things will get done, and honestly, the more enjoyable it will be for anyone. I haven't gone through this wood pile in probably over a year. Some of the wood that's been stashed behind other pieces I haven't seen in over a year. So this is a good point in time where I can truly see what exactly I have on hand. Once we have it somewhat cleaned up, it's time to actually start building. Now, the base of it is going to be 24 inches by 96 inches long or wide, whatever you want to call it. Now, one thing I did learn, so the wood that I bought, I thought I was just buying the usual, 2 by 4 by 96 inches. Apparently, it's not 96 inches. It's like 94 or 93, something like that. I'm really hoping that's by design and not just the big box store ripping me off. Nonetheless, whenever I added the blocking or the edges per se, I think it added up to the full 96 inches. If not, it was very, very close. One other thing that I want to mention is I'm trying to make this with as much material that I already have on hand, trying not to spend a whole lot. There are 3 things that I purchased specifically for this though. There's the screws that you currently see me using. I bought 4 individual sheets of 2 by 4 by, I guess, 94 inches. And I also bought some casters. 4 casters in total, obviously 1 on each corner. Now the casters, I will say I'm a fan favorite of these. I'm not sponsored by any means by them or anything like that, but they roll so nicely. They're tall, so they're 4 inches tall, the wheel itself, 5 inches with the base plate. Again, they roll super easily, even along the concrete joints that they had to cut out. And they're tall enough to where I can fit a vacuum under there very nicely, very neatly, and clean up. Now, you currently see me, I am adding some blocking. That is where the caster is going to go. It just gives me more space or enough space for the caster to really bite into it. If not, one edge of the caster is going to be essentially not having anything to hold on to. Right, moving on, once the casters are on, we're going to be moving on to a center spine. It's not really centered though, it's a little offset by a few inches, and this is the thought process behind it. I want to have essentially a front and a back. The back side's going to hold all my plywood. I don't generally keep a whole lot of plywood on hand. I usually do have about 3 or 4, just 4 by 8 full sheets of plywood, sometimes none, but never really more than that. And again, I don't need half of this just to hold that. So I did want to give myself more room on the front to hold the offcuts, hardwood that I have on hand, just, et cetera, et cetera. It's always good to have a little bit more. Now, the bottom or the floor of this, if you want to call it, it's kind of just pieced together. Again, I didn't want to buy or use a full sheet of plywood. I kind of wanted to use what I have on hand that is an offcut from a different project, which is kind of why you see, the random cuts here and there, but it worked at the end of the day. I did put supports where supports were needed, so I can easily stand on it, no issues there. Now I am going to make a bit of a wall. It's going to be essentially the divider that's dividing the front and the back half. Just using this sheet of MDF that, again, I've already had on hand, and I've probably had it for the past 5 years, and I'm finally using or finding a use for it, for that matter. It didn't go all the way to the top. I probably could have made it go all the way to the top with some more material, but I didn't really see a use for it. Uh, the plywood on the backside is just going to hang out there. It's not like it's protruding or anything like that. And then vice versa, the hardwood that's on this side shouldn't protrude. And if it does, well, as we'll find out later. All right, so on the front side, I do want to build some walls, if you want, some side walls, if you want to call them. That way the wood can't just fall over. And a bit of a corral, if you want to call it that as well. So I am using 2x4 to make a bit of a gate or a bit of a fence. That way, if it ever falls, well, it's just going to fall on the fence. Now, I don't intend on, for example, stacking a bunch of 8-foot long pieces of hardwood or an 8-foot 2x4 on here. It's not necessarily meant for that. So I only intend on using it for maybe up to 48-inch piece. So even if something falls, it's just gonna fall on that, and it's not gonna like tip over or anything. Now on the back side, I do want to put a bit of a lip. That way the plywood can't just slide off. If for some reason it does slide, well, it's gonna catch on the lip. And then lastly, a little bit of paint. I know I'm not doing a professional paint job by any stretch of any imagination here. This is just for a little bit of looks, just so it kind of blends in with the rest of my garage or what it's going to be moving forward. And then time to place everything back in. Now, I may change this moving forward. I may add something here and there, but this is what it looks like, at least for now. It has plenty of room for what I currently have. It does have some room to add extra wood. As far as plywood, I have a total of 5 sheets in the back already stacked. No, you're not going to see it on camera more than likely, but I do have 5 of them already on. It fits perfectly fine. I can probably fit another 3 or 4 if I really wanted to. The angle is perfect. It's enough of an angle to where it doesn't fall over on the opposite side, but it's also not impeding, or it's not taking away any space on this side.
And just like that, y'all, we are done with this week's project. It's already being put to some good use over here. I did move it though. So it used to be over there on that shop wall, garage wall. I did move it right next to the garage door, the big garage door. It is on casters, as y'all seen, so I can definitely move it out of the way if I need to. It's already got like what, 4 or 5 sheets of plywood already stacked on it. She can hold another couple more. I very rarely ever have more than what I already have on hand, for that matter. So good to go. It's got a little extra room to grow. Some of that I do want to go through it and just kind of throw out like little itty bitty scraps. I do have a neighbor, thankfully, that does some wood turning, so maybe I'll give it to him and we can go from there. But that's all I have for this project. Stay tuned for next week's project. It is going to be a little bit more of a shop organization slash efficiency. That's going to be a little bit of the trend moving forward, at least for this channel, at least in the nearby future. But aside from that, I will catch y'all on next week's episode. I hope y'all have a great day. Bye, y'all.